Hi everyone, my name's Amy Raves. I provide risk reduction services to the dance and nightlife community. I set up booths at raves and festivals. I do what DanceSafe does. I promote peer-based drug education. I talk to people about their drug use and safe drug use. And I provide reagent drug checking with DanceSafe drug checking kits. Because I got tired of hearing about people dying in the rave scene and the festival scene because they didn't know what they were taking, and it hit kind of close to home for me. So today I'll be performing a demonstration on how to properly and safely use these DanceSafe drug checking kits. It doesn't tell you how much of a substance is in a pill. It doesn't tell you everything that's contained in a pill, but it tells you whether your ecstasy pill contains MDMA or not, and that's a really good place to start. Sadly, in today's market, we have a lot of counterfeit drugs, and things like PMA, paramethamphetamine, are being misrepresented as ecstasy, and nobody wants an ecstasy pill with PMA because it kills people. With these drug checking kits, you can at least detect the presence of certain substances. And I've brought some things to test here today. I honestly don't know what they are, but I have very small amounts, and you guys should probably move a little closer. I encourage you to come a little closer. So even though I have such a small amount, it doesn't take much for a reagent to react. Little bit of substance out into this one dish. And there I've got just a little bit, if you can see just how little that is. It really doesn't take much to identify a substance. Nothing really came out of that.
Yeah,
one.
it did.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, that was a really small amount.
That's all you need there.
You can see really how small an amount that is in that dish. And that's how sensitive these drug checking reagents are. This one looks like it's in a chunk form. So I'm gonna kind of crunch that up with the capsule if I can. That worked. And move a little bit over into the other side of the dish, into there, and that'll be enough. With these DanceSafe drug checking kits comes a chart, and this chart lists about 20 different substances that can be revealed with these different reagents. However, online you can find hundreds of different substances that will react to any of these various reagents. I want to use gloves because reagents are very corrosive. They're made with things like sulfuric acid that will eat through your skin and burn you. They will also eat through surfaces. So it's really important that you use a non-porous surface to test your substances on, and we recommend a porcelain plate. You can use a regular dinner plate. So I got this little dish that's excellent because I can put multiple samples into it and keep them organized and neat. The first reagent I'm going to use is called Marquis. And the Marquis Reagent was, again, the first one that was used for drug checking at festivals. I'm going to drop one drop on this. That's all it takes is one drop. I'm going to make sure that when I drop it, that I keep it a good enough distance above the substance. I don't want to reach down and actually touch the substance because I can contaminate my reagent. And we don't want to do that. Keep it about an inch above the substance. And I'm going to drop one small, teeny drop. Now what I can tell you is that it is not in the MD family. It's not MDMA, it's not MDE, it's not MDMA. So we've got a substance that's no reaction. So far, we know that this could possibly be mephedrone, alpha PVP, any of these. It could be PMA or PMMA, and it could also be cocaine. Now I've got to narrow down between cocaine and probably ketamine is what I'm thinking. Okay, this mandolin reagent is yellow, and it has a little residue in the bottom. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of shake. Apply one drop to this. I'm rechecking the same one that we tested already that had no reaction. Okay, so one drop from high up. Boop. Okay, whoa, we went from yellow to, what is it, like reddish, orangish, reddish? Okay, where's our Let's take a look at our...
Ketamine's here and cocaine.
Yep.
Ketamine
Ketamine goes from orangish, like a brownish. Cocaine goes from orange to yellow. So we're still in an orange place here.
Yeah.
So we're going to wait a little while for more reaction to occur. And we're going to see if this continues to darken. And actually, it's not re-lightening back to a yellow, is it? It went from orange, and it just seems to keep getting darker.
Although it is different colors in different parts of the well.
Right. It goes to from white to the lightest yellow
Oh
you
yeah,
can
well,
imagine.
cocaine goes with Lieberman goes to a fairly light yellow also.
Oh, it does.
More of a
It does. I think we've just put ourselves out of the Lieberman category.
Yeah.
Yeah, because both change yellow.
So why is that? Why are these colors so similar?
There's a pretty positive identification that this is, in fact, ketamine because it hasn't gone back to yellow. It's remaining orangish and then to a brownish, and it's more towards the brownish now, and I think we've got a pretty good match with that brown to this brown, and it's still brown, and it still hasn't gone to yellow. So I'm going to say positively identified as ketamine. So we're going to test the next substance. I'm hoping we have some MDMA here because MDMA's reaction is really cool. It goes to the prettiest, deepest purple you'd ever see. And then it goes to black. And sometimes you can get a little puff of smoke from the reaction. And I like that part. It's above, high enough up that I won't contaminate my bottle of reagent. And there goes that. Oh, sizzle, 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 purple. Oh, purple.
And getting darker.
And getting darker and darker, purple to black. Okay, so now what we know right now is that this substance is one of these. How do we differentiate between MDMA and MDA? Well, if you look here, the Simon's reagent will turn to blue for MDMA and MDE. And for MDA, there's no reaction. So we can tell the difference between SAS and Molly. Simon's reagent is especially cool. I think it's one of my favorite reagents. It's two separate chemicals. And if you'll notice here, Simon's B. And you don't have a Simon's reaction or a Simon's reagent without the both of these together. So first I'm going to apply 1 drop of Simon A. Sample of MD, we don't know. So 1 drop from a good distance up. That's a little bigger than I'm trying to get. Apply the second drop of Simon B. And what we should see is either no reaction or it should turn to blue. And here goes drop number 2. Ooh, look how pretty. Look how pretty that color is. How beautiful is that? That color is not that, right?
Wide world of sports.
Yeah. So we've positively identified ketamine today and MDMA. Okay, just because our Marquis and Simon reagent revealed to us that MDMA is present in our pill does not necessarily mean that that's the only substance that's in it. And the chemist will add a teeny bit of MDMA into it, just enough to trick the reagents to give a positive reaction, yet it can still contain a deadly dose of PMA. PMA has a 2-hour come up. It takes 2 hours for it for you to start to feel it. If you take a pill and an hour and 20 minutes later, you're like, hey, I don't feel anything. These are weak pills. Let me take another one. You've just taken a fatal dose of PMA. So I'm going to put 1 drop, again holding the bottle an inch above so we don't contaminate our substance. Marquis turned yellow-green. What could that be, yellow-green? Holy cow, is this 2CB? Just to be sure, I think I want to try the Mecki.
How do we know it's not 2CI? It's really similar. In fact, there may even be...
I didn't see any blue in there. There's some blue in there, and it's supposed to turn blue for the 2CI. And it's staying dark green, and some of it's staying yellow. So we've got both colors represented in this sample. Then it'll turn from yellow to brown. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 drop of the Mecki on this. And we're going to see what happens. Yellow to brown. we've got MDMA, and we've got 2CB. Okay, we have an Ehrlich's reagent. The Ehrlich reagent is used to identify LSD. So it works on indoles. DMT, psilocybin, psilocin, 5-MeO-DMT, 5-MeO-MIPT. No reaction with N-bombs.
That's the key.
Yeah, that is the key. So all the indoles will turn purple. And let's see what we've got here. It can take up to a minute or two.
Does anybody have any questions for the amazing Amy Raves?
The RAVE Act is really the Illicit Drug Anti-Proliferation Act of 2003. Drugs are not allowed here. Do not bring drugs in here. Do not talk about drugs in here. We do not allow drugs in here. If I'm there saying, hey, come test your drugs, then the venue and the promoter is providing and promoting a place where drugs are used. And that's why the mother of a young girl who passed away, this poor girl died, Shelley Goldsmith. She died after taking MDMA because she didn't have access to water, and the temperature in the club was about 100 degrees, maybe a few degrees above 100 degrees. MDMA limits your body's thermoregulation system. It limits your body's ability to regulate temperature. So when you start to overheat, your body can't work against that by cooling you down. Shelley Goldsmith died that way, and her mom, when she learned about why her daughter really died, because of the venue conditions and the prohibition of honest, fact-based drug education and drug checking services, so she went on a campaign to amend the RAVE Act. Now, before we wrap this up, everybody, does anybody see any purplish hue to this well in here? Does anybody see any purplish hue? I hold it up in the light a little, this one right here.
No.
So being extremely careful to start slowly with your dosing. It's really important that if you don't have good information about the substance that you're taking besides reagent results, you don't have the testimony of your friends who have taken the same exact substance that they acquired from the same exact person in and about around the same time, you should probably start really slow. And the best advice is to start with a quarter dose. It's a little sizzle, sizzle, poof, smoke, purple, black. And it's all it's fun. Because chemistry is cool.